If you thought JimJones and Chrissy Lampkin's relationship was all love and hip-hop, buckle up because their latest drama has had the internet rattled. Jones has just been caught in the middle of a dramatic public altercation with none other than Chrissy Lampkin, and oh, the specifics are wild. Eyewitnesses say things went from 0 to 100 real quick, and let's just say Jim's reputation is hanging by a wire. It started with what seemed like an ordinary argument, but things took a dark turn. Sources claim Jim absolutely lost control and said what happened next? Oh honey, it's worse than you imagine. Chrissy Lampkin was scared, the crowd was astonished, and social media was in full meltdown mode. People were demanding answers. Did JimJones actually go too far this time? What provoked his dramatic reaction? And most importantly, who is the mysterious person at the center of all this drama? Fans are devastated, celebs are speaking out. Insiders are spilling tea that might wreck Jim's entire career. So grab your popcorn because this scandal is just getting started, all right. Buckle up because if you thought JimJones and Chrissy Lampkin's relationship was messy before, but honey, you haven't seen anything yet. This current scandal is so outrageous that even love and hip-hop artists are probably spurring to find out how they're going to cover it. So let's rewind and figure out how we got here because the specifics, baby, they're messy. It all started at a private gathering last Saturday night. Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin stepped up together, smiling and holding hands, appearing like everything was okay. Fans were surprised since, let's be honest, Jim and Chrissy Lampkin relationship has been rocky. For years, one minute they're engaged and the next they're taking a break. Jim has been caught up in cheating rumors, money problems, and some murky business transactions. But Chrissy Lampkin has, according to eyewitnesses, Jim and Chrissy Lampkin were seated in the VIP section of an upmarket New York City club when things began. However, Chrissy Lampkin may have had enough to go left. Apparently, Jim had been drinking a little too much, which, let's be honest, isn't exactly out of character for him, but this time it impacted him differently. All night, he was pacing back and forth, looking agitated, and Chrissy Lampkin tried to calm him down, but he wasn't having it. Then Jim apparently received a text message, and whatever he saw set him angry. Chrissy Lampkin leaned over to inquire what was wrong, and that's when things became heated. Witnesses say Jim took his phone away from Chrissy Lampkin and started ranting at her. Jim tried to stay calm because you'll know Chrissy Lampkin doesn't like to make a scene, but Jim was not letting it go. Another source who was seated close stated Chrissy Lampkin kept saying, "Calm down, Jim. Jim is not here." Was furious, he started pointing at her, his voice becoming louder and louder. At that point, people around them began to notice the music was still blasting, but you could see people turning their gaze toward the VIP section, and that's when things truly spiraled out of control. According to one witness, Jim jumped up and got right in Chrissy Lampkin's face, looking like he was about to grab. Jim reportedly grabbed Chrissy Lampkin's arm and tried to drag her out of the booth, and Chrissy Lampkin tugged her back, saying, "Don't do it, Jim." But Jim, oh honey, he did it. Arm away and said, "Let go of me," and y'all, the whole club froze at that time. A mystery man, someone connected to the couple, ran in to separate them. And according to sources, this mystery man had Jai's close friend for years, but the way he stepped in, it almost seemed like he was attempting to protect Chrissy Lampkin more than Jim. A witness recalled the moment this person moved in between them and said, "Relax out, Jim, you're doing too much." But Jim shoved him back and yelled, "Keep out of it." At this point, security had to step in. Chrissy Lampkin was shaking. Her face was crimson, and you could tell she was holding. Security dragged Jim out of the club, but not before he assaulted the mystery man one last time and shrieked, "You don't know what the **** you're talking about." And Chrissy Lampkin, oh honey, Chrissy remained behind, looking shaken. According to one source, she knelt down and put her head in her hands. People approached her and asked if she was okay, but she didn't say anything. According to individuals close to the situation, Jim's phone was exploding up with texts, which is why he was so irate, from an unknown lady who Chrissy Lampkin has thought Jim has been playing around with for months. Yes, cheating accusations have been floating around Jim for years, but Chrissy Lampkin has always defended him. Even when people said Jim was out in Miami with a mysterious girl, Chrissy Lampkin blew it off. But this time she witnessed the proof with her own eyes, according to a source close to Chrissy Lampkin. Text on Jim's phone, and that's why he snapped. He knew he was caught, and instead of acknowledging it, he lashed out. And let me tell you, social media lost no time jumping on this. Jim and Chrissy Lampkin exited the club, and footage of the altercation was already spreading online. Someone in the club taped the whole thing and put it on TikTok with the caption JimJones wean out on. Chrissy Lampkin in the club, this dude is done, and the remarks, oh honey. The comments were cruel. Chrissy Lampkin, let's leave him now. Jim out here embarrassing Chrissy Lampkin. Again, at this point, Chrissy Lampkin is playing herself. She stays with him, and the craziest part is that neither Jim nor Chrissy has spoken a single word about the incident. Jim's Instagram is silent. Chrissy Lampkin's stories are empty, but you know how silence speaks, louder than words. But here's where things get even juicier, because the mysterious man who jumped in to defend Chrissy Lampkin, oh honey, he might not be just a buddy, according to reports, has been around Chrissy Lampkin for a long. And let's just say some are starting to wonder if Chrissy Lampkin has already moved on. According to a source close to the couple, Chrissy Lampkin and Jim have been rocky for months. I've been counting on this guy for emotional support, and Jim knows it. And the fact that Jim lashed out at Chrissy Lampkin in public like that isn't just anger. It's worry that Chrissy Lampkin might be Chrissy Lampkin isn't backing down this time, according to a source close to her, and she's tired of him for good. Through enough with Jim, this could finally be the breaking point, and Jim, yes, he's in damage control mode. Word on the street is that he's already called out to some of his industry friends to try to cover up the news. But sweetie, that film Egg is already out there. There's no turning back from this one. And let me tell you that the fallout from this scandal is about to shake up the entire Love and Hip Hop universe. Because if Chrissy Lampkin moves away for good, and the accusations about this mystery man are true, Jim would not just lose his love, he might lose everything. And believe me, this is far from over, because what happens next, oh honey? It's about to get messier, oh honey. If you thought part 1 was dirty, baby, we're only getting started, because the fallout from JimJones' explosive outburst, oh, it's way worse than we expected. The internet is on fire, fans are taking sides, and let me tell you, the way Chrissy Lampkin is moving right now, it looks like Jim might have just fumbled the bag. And the woman, so where did we left off? Oh, Jim was being hauled out of the club by security after trying to grab Chrissy Lampkin out of the booth in front of a room full of people. And Chrissy Lampkin, she was left sitting there ashamed, embarrassed, and shaken. But let's talk about what happened after that, because honey, that's when the real drama begins. So let's break down what we know thus far. Sources close to the pair, and I mean close, have revealed that the reason Jim lost his cool wasn't simply because of Chrissy Lampkin's reaction, but because of those text messages. According to a very trusted insider, Jim had been messaging with a mysterious woman for months, and this isn't just any casual side chick affair. We're talking intimate chats, communications, and straight-up emotional adultery. A source claimed Chrissy Lampkin had her suspicions for long, but Jim always denied it. But when those messages appeared up on his phone, Chrissy Lampkin noticed them. With her own eyes and the content of those messages, oh honey, they were filthy. We're talking late-night texts like "I miss you, when are you coming to visit me, doesn't have to know, excuse me," and the worst of all, reports suggest that this mystery woman isn't just any random lady. She's supposedly connected to someone else in the industry. That's right, this is about to evolve into a full-blown industry scandal. But here's the kicker. Chrissy Lampkin wasn't even going to say anything about it. Apparently, she was trying to handle the problem privately. But Jim's reaction is what blew this whole. Chrissy Lampkin was quiet at first, according to an insider close to her. However, when Jim started ranting and behaving insane, Chrissy Lampkin understood he was guilty. And guess what? This isn't even the first time Jim has been caught up in infidelity suspicions. Remember back in 2019 when Jim was photographed with that Instagram girl in Miami and Chrissy Lampkin went live and basically told everyone to mind their business? Yeah, this time she's not playing that game. And when the tape hit social media, the internet went wild by the time that when the video hit the blogs, hashtags like hashtag protect Chrissy Lampkin and hashtag JimJones exposed were already trending on Twitter, and the comments were brutal. Chrissy Lampkin needs to leave him for good this time. How do you treat the woman who held you down like this? Chrissy Lampkin better take him for what he's worth. And the celebs, they started weighing in to Cardi B hop on Twitter and said, "Man, some of you really don't deserve the women you got." Tamar Braxton added, "Chrissy Lampkin is better than me because I would have handled that situation very differently." And the comments just kept pouring, even Remind Ma, who typically keeps out of this kind of drama. Like the tweet that said Jim been moving funny for years, Chrissy Lampkin deserves better. And that's not all. Because you'll know social media detectives don't rest. Fans quickly started digging into Jim's social media activities. And let's just say Jim hasn't exactly been acting. Like a faithful by screenshot leaked of Jim liking and commenting on photographs of a certain woman. And guess who it was? That's right, the same woman who supposedly sent those messages. What else they found was a recent DM interaction where Jim was flirting with her, calling her lovely and dropping heart eye emojis as if he wasn't already engaged. One fan uploaded screenshots and wrote, "Jim been moving recklessly, Chrissy Lampkin just now found him in Jim. Oh honey, he's not helping himself because instead of laying low and letting the heat die down, Jim hopped on Instagram and wrote this cryptic statement. Y'all don't know the half of it, excuse me. What precisely don't we know, Jim?" But the big shock came when the mystery man who broke up the altercation spoke. Do y'all remember how we talked about that guy who stepped in between Jim and Chrissy Lampkin? Well, apparently he knows a lot more than he's saying according to reports. The mysterious man has been close to Chrissy Lampkin for years, and he's seen how Jim's been treating her behind the scenes. And from what I'm hearing, he's fed up. An insider said the mystery man Jim has been warning Chrissy Lampkin for years that he isn't suited for her, but she wasn't ready to hear it. And now it appears like he might be stepping up in more ways than one, because after the incident, the mysterious man reportedly said, "Chrissy Lampkin, you don't deserve this, you deserve better." And the way Chrissy Lampkin was looking at him afterward, oh honey, there's definitely something there. According to one insider, Chrissy Lampkin is not the kind to jump from one relationship to another, but there's certainly a connection between her and this guy and Jim. Oh, he's not happy about it. Sources say Jim confronted the mystery man after the encounter and it got hot. According to an insider, Jim told him to back off. He said, "That's my wife." And the mystery man said, "Then act like it's few." So now the question is, Chrissy Lampkin truly finished with Jim this time? From what I'm hearing, Chrissy Lampkin is finally starting to listen to the people around her. And the fact that this mysterious man stepped in while Jim was acting up, it might have been the wake-up call she needed. And y'all, Jim is sliding. He's been seen out in New York drinking, looking untidy and miserable. And he's been contacting Chrissy Lampkin, nonstop trying to apologize, but Chrissy Lampkin, oh honey, she's not picking up. And the craziest part, word on the street, is that Chrissy Lampkin has already been talking to her lawyer and baby. If what I'm hearing is true, Jim may not only lose Chrissy Lampkin, but also his money, because Chrissy Lampkin's name is on some of Jim's business dealings, including the property they live in. And if Chrissy Lampkin moves away, honey, Jim might not have someplace to go. But here's the thing, Chrissy Lampkin hasn't spoken out yet. She's been quiet on social media, and that silence is bigger than any statement she could make. But the fact that she's already talking to her lawyer, yeah, it's not looking good for Jim. And the fallout from this, oh honey, it's about to get more messier, because if Chrissy Lampkin files action and if the mystery lady comes forward, oh baby, Jim's career and reputation may be done for good. And trust me, you're not ready for what's coming next. Stay tuned in, because in part 3, baby is about to go nuclear. And if you thought part 2 was insane, wait till you hear what occurred next, because baby, The fallout from Jim Jones' outburst is spiraling out of control, and the damage is worse than anyone thought. Jim's reputation, his profession, and even his relationship are all hanging by a thread. And Chrissy Lampkin, oh honey, the way she's moving right now. Let's just say Jim might have finally pushed her too far. So where did we left off? Oh, Jim was spiraling after being exposed for those shady text messages and that public confrontation. With Chrissy Lampkin at the club, the mystery man had already stepped in to protect Chrissy Lampkin, and Jim, oh honey, he did not take that well. Let's talk about what occurred thereafter. That because trust me, it's messier than you think. So apparently Jim Jones didn't just walk away calmly after the club incident. Oh no, he was angry. Word on the street is that Jim Jones quickly departed. Jim Jones left the club and headed directly to a nearby hotel. But he wasn't alone, according to a trusted insider. It wasn't Chrissy Lampkin, and let's just say they weren't exactly trying to. Jim Jones left the club with a woman who appeared eerily similar to the girl he had been texting. I'm not claiming it was the mysterious woman, but the receipts are building up. A person close to the matter stated Jim Jones wasn't even trying to be covered about it. He left holding hands with her, and Chrissy Lampkin hadn't even of the club yet, and he was already moving on. And guess what? Somebody caught it on camera. By the next morning, images of Jim Jones leaving the hotel with this mystery woman were all over social media. TV's The Shade Room Hollywood Unlocked. Everybody knew the tale. One fan uploaded the picture with the statement Jim Jones couldn't even wait 2 days before embarrassing Chrissy Lampkin again. And the comments, oh honey, they were savage. Jim Jones has been garbage. Chrissy Lampkin simply has to cut him off for good. Chrissy Lampkin deserves better. Jim Jones isn't even trying to disguise it anymore. How are you going to cheat? And then had the nerve to be caught, and just when you thought it couldn't get much worse, oh honey, it got worse, because guess what? The mystery woman went live. Oh yeah, she hopped on Instagram, enjoying a glass of wine, appearing utterly unconcerned. And as the comments started flowing and wondering if she was the one Jai left with, she smirked and replied, "You don't need to mind your business. I'm not the one who made vows. That's his problem. Excuse me. So you're telling me this woman knows Jim Jones was out here insulting Chrissy Lampkin, and she's just laughing about it? Oh honey, the arrogance in Jim Jones. Oh, he made things much worse, because instead of denying it or apologizing, Jim Jones got on Instagram the next day and posted a picture of himself with the comment, "It is what it." Oh honey, I swear I almost hurled my phone across the room, and Chrissy Lampkin saw it too, because just hours later she posted a cryptic remark on her Instagram story that said, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time, baby." But let me tell you, it didn't stop there, because the mystery man only wasn't about to sit back and let Jim Jones get away with this. A source, according to a source close to Chrissy Lampkin, following Jim Jones' little stunt, the mysterious man called Chrissy Lampkin and told her that she no longer had to deal with this. And Chrissy clearly listened, because guess what Chrissy Lampkin did? Chrissy Lampkin was photographed outside a high-profile attorney's office in New York City, and this isn't your typical lawyer. Of the most cutthroat divorce attorneys in the field, one source said Chrissy Lampkin isn't playing games anymore. She's been dragging Jim Jones down for years, but this time she's done. And the rumors, oh, they're according to insiders. Chrissy Lampkin isn't just looking to leave. She's looking to take everything with her. Chrissy Lampkin's name is on some of Jim Jones' largest assets, including the house. Jim Jones might lose everything if Chrissy Lampkin files for divorce. Insiders said that Chrissy Lampkin stood by him when he had nothing, and now that he's built something, she's entitled to half of it. And Jim Jones, yes, he knows he messed up, because reportedly after hearing out that Chrissy Lampkin spoke with her lawyer, Jim Jones started blowing up her phone. A source. According to a source close to Chrissy Lampkin, Jim Jones has been calling her nonstop, messaging her, and leaving voicemails. He even showed up at her apartment, but Chrissy Lampkin refused to open the door. The weirdest part was that Jim Jones even went to Mama Jones. According to one source, Jim Jones's mother called Chrissy Lampkin and basically begged her to work things out. But Chrissy Lampkin said, I love you, but I can't keep doing this for you and the internet. Oh honey, the internet is team Chrissy Lampkin. Chrissy Lampkin deserves more since she held JimJones down when no one else did, and this is how he repays her. Chrissy Lampkin should take him for Nicki Minaj, remarked under a post about the matter. Chrissy Lampkin has been loyal, JimJones has been acting himself, and guess who else got in? Remiima posted on her Instagram story, don't play with a woman who held you down from day one. But here's the point, JimJones isn't just facing personal reaction. His job is already taking a big word on the street, is that JimJones had been in talks with a large network about a new reality TV deal. But after this scandal, the agreement is on hold, according to a person close to the network. Want the backlash? JimJones' name is too muddy right now, and advertisers are already pulling out. And his business, oh honey, that's going down too. Endorsement deals, a sneaker deal for over 6 figures, is already pulling back. An insider stated the brand doesn't want to be connected with this kind of scandal, and they're considering stopping the. And so now the question is, how can JimJones come back from this? Because from where I'm sitting, Chrissy Lampkin has all the power right now. She's got the receipts, she's got the public backing, the legal advantage, and if Chrissy Lampkin decides to take this all the way to court, oh honey, JimJones can lose not just his relationship, but also his profession, money, and his entire image. And the craziest part is that Chrissy Lampkin hasn't even said a word yet. According to a source close to Chrissy Lampkin is letting JimJones hang himself right now, since she knows whatever he says will only make him look worse. And JimJones, well, he's still out here acting reckless. Just last night, JimJones was caught at another club looking sloppy and wasted, and guess who he was with? Mystery lady. So at this point, the question isn't if Chrissy Lampkin will leave him, but how terribly JimJones is going to regret it when she does. And honey, when Chrissy Lampkin makes her move, it's going to be the end of JimJones. So now the only issue is, will JimJones survive this fallout? Or is this the beginning of the end for Jim and Chrissy Lampkin? And trust me, you already know I'll be back with all the updates since this story is far from done. So now the question is this really the end for JimJones and Chrissy Lampkin after years of sticking by his side, protecting him and holding him down? Is Chrissy Lampkin finally leaving away for good? And if she does, what happens to JimJones? Let's be honest, without Chrissy Lampkin, JimJones' career and image might not survive this one. But the real JimJones might not simply lose his relationship if Chrissy Lampkin goes away and files those legal documents. Her silence right now, honey, speaks more than any remarks she could make. He might lose his money, his property, and his reputation in the industry. And the fact that he's still out here acting recklessly with the mystery woman on his arm, it's like he's trying to self-destruct. And the fans, oh, they've already chosen a side. Social media is 100% behind Chrissy Lampkin. And if she decides to take Jim to court, you know everyone's going to be watching. But what about the mystery man? Is he really just a friend? Or is there more to that story? So now the question is, what's Chrissy Lampkin's next move? Is she going to sit silent and let Jim wreck his own ship? Or is she about to make a power move that will take him down for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you team Chrissy Lampkin or team Jim? Should Chrissy Lampkin? Is this the time for her to forgive Jim? Allow me to walk away and never look back. Let me know what you think, because baby, this drama is far from finished. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, because trust me, when the following chapter of this story drops, oh honey, you will want to be the first to know. Stay tuned, since this story is only